Can you hear me now? Audio, guys?
I can hear you.
Tyrone said, no, you can't hear me.
Yes, you can.
No, yes, you can hear me. Do you guys hear an echo?
No.
So Michael said yes. So echo, yes or no? No. Thumbs up, we're good. Okay, so I can just hear myself, and I hate having these on because my wireless beats aren't working. I don't know what's going on. There's a little echo. Okay. So we're just going to kill some time in the beginning. I do have a guest joining us. We're going to go through our little spiel. So welcome to Same Team Sundays. I am your host, Avery Woodley. And okay, Michael said yes, an echo. Some people hear an echo, some people don't. Is it like a big echo? Okay, Chris said I'm good. All right. Today, I'm going to give you guys a topic really quick. But first, of course, we have to talk about DMX a little bit and just do a little check-in. I definitely want to touch on that. But we are talking about gender roles, responsibilities, and relationships today. And we're going all in. We're talking about like the task. We're talking about appeal, physical attraction, all of that. Okay. So we're starting with the traditional gender roles, and then we're just going to kind of go into relationships today because there is a stigma attached to traditional gender roles, specifically when it comes to women, which is why a lot of them, today, or what we call modern women, shy away from the whole gender role thing because they feel like it's holding them down, and keeping them down. But we want to talk about the importance of them. I personally feel that there is a need for gender roles in a healthy relationship. And with that, that does not mean that necessarily that certain tasks are assigned only to the men or only to the women. Because to me, in a relationship, they are fluid. It just means that there has to be a presence of the masculine role and the feminine role in a healthy relationship to create a balance. But it will flow and go back and forth between the two people depending on what's going on. But there definitely has to be both sides of the coin. Oh, hey, Scott. How are you? All right. So once again, if we're having audio problems, just let me know. I will check in the stream, in the chat, because my guest is joining me and I don't know what's going on. Like, I have the highest version of StreamYard, so hers was acting up, mine was acting up. So I'm in here with these studio, I'm about to go rap and drop a diss track, headphones on, because even my wireless, oops, I almost hit myself in the face. We're not working. All right. But I definitely wanted to start off with, paying our respects to DMX. And I know there are people that are losing their lives every day. But when you think about the influence and the impact he had on so many of us through his lyrics, but not only that, what I really want to focus on is his vulnerability and his struggle. He was so open with the world and shared so much. And I honestly believe that his stories, his struggle, his pain, his rawness, his transparency has saved more lives than his music actually did. Because people need to see someone in his position, just opening up and bearing their soul. We saw him at his highest and we saw him in some of his lowest moments. And he never really hid that from us. And I don't know. I'm a person, like, I understand that we live and then we pass and we go on, you know, to eternal life, to heaven, or wherever people are going. Our souls are free. But it's still, you know, it's still sad when you see someone like him and you hear the story of what happened to him at a young age, and somebody that was supposed to be a mentor getting him hooked on drugs and never giving him that option for himself, you know? And so to battle with a disease like that for so many years, but to still try to pour into people at the same time when he was fighting for his soul is just completely selfless. And I feel like he is a true example, no matter what he had going on, of being God's son, one of the chosen people, a disciple. You know, it's not about having a perfect life and being spotless and blameless, you know, and like you're walking on water. It's just about being real and being able to leave an impact, you know, on the world. And I know he definitely left one with me. And a lot of people, as I read this stuff, people are like, you know, I was struggling, and because of you, I made it. And it's like, that is priceless. You know, I can imagine now that no matter what, God's like, you know what? Job well done. You did what you were supposed to do, and you did the best you could with the cards you had been dealt. So I know I've seen some crazy stuff, but we live in a world where we definitely need to have more compassion and be more empathetic, because if you've never struggled with an addiction or mental health or anything like that, you have no idea what it's like, and to still have to get up every day and try to show up, you know, to the world. So much love to him, his family, his children, his friends, everybody in my prayers. And if he can hear us, I just personally want to thank him for gracing us with his presence. And job well done. You will be missed for sure. Somebody said, drop a hook, especially with these headphones. I cannot at all. But really quick, gosh, it just sucks. But he was truly, truly amazing. And with that, it just shows us, like, once again, tomorrow is not promised. And while we are here, we really have to try and take care of ourselves and get ourselves together. You know, it's easy to get caught up in the hustle and bustle. And it's also easy to try and constantly fix others, to shy away from what we have going on. But we owe it to ourselves to really give it our best shot, to love ourselves, to pour into ourselves, to make sure that we are good mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, because we are no good to anybody else if we are pouring from an empty cup. We are no good to anybody else if we do not address our childhood traumas. And I know it's easier said than done, because once you get help, then the work really starts. If you've ever been in therapy or anything like that, once you go and they really start to uncover everything, that's when the fight really starts, because now you're facing it full on. So that's another kind of prayer I want to put up, is that for anybody right now who is in therapy, and for all those people who are addressing childhood traumas, adult traumas, generational curses, anything like that, hold on. It will feel like hell, but right after that, your breakthrough is coming. And when you're done with it, you are done with it. Okay? Do not let it have a hold on you, and your life really starts after that. So I'm going to pray for you guys to have a little bit of extra strength for all those people who are working to break something off of them, to be free from something. And those of you all that are healing and trying to move forward. All right. So how is everyone doing? What's been going on? It's been a second before we've had a live, because last week, was that last week, Easter? I wanted to be outside. It was really nice. And so I did it a little bit earlier. But today we're actually having a stream and a guest. And we actually have a guest, I think, next week as well. And maybe the next week. Okay. So it's going to be, it's going to be getting good. And there were a couple of things that we could have talked about today. And this guest is going to be back for some more conversations, as is my last guest. If you guys join me for that, well, the first guest I had, Meredith, she will be back. But there have been a lot of things going on with, you see these quotes and memes and all this stuff about, what women will and won't do, what men are going to do and not going to do. And, women show up with a list this long of everything they want men to bring to the table. And then their list is this long. So, they have a whole scroll, like, you better this, and this. He needs to protect me. He needs to provide for me. He needs to do all of this. And it's like, well, what are you doing? I'm with him. He got me. Okay, girl, like, that's not enough, but all right. Okay. And then just the whole gender role, conversation, whether it's traditional gender, I keep stuttering over that, traditional gender roles, or whatever gender roles people have constructed now, because we know that they obviously are constructed from society and culture and all of that. And now we have the gender roles have changed. Okay. But you also have a lot of people who just shy away from the conversation altogether. Just like when we've talked about submission, they're like, oh no, I don't want to have anything to do with that. I don't want to use that word, just keep it away from me. So it's the same thing happening with gender roles. But really quick, when you are an employee, you have roles and responsibilities at your workplace. Do you all agree? Just let me know. I don't know if I'm making this up and if it's so foreign, but you definitely have roles and responsibilities at your workplace. If you are a part of a team, or if you've ever been a part of a team, whether it's a sport team or at your job or anything like that, you also have roles and responsibilities. But for some reason, when it comes to the relationships, it's like, oh no, a role, like what? Responsibilities, tasks, you want me to do what? But we have the ability to fulfill our roles and our responsibilities. And when it's asked of us, like, hey, I know this isn't your responsibility, but we need you to do X, Y, and Z. Hey, I know this isn't in your job description, but we could really use you over here. Oh, yes, sure, no problem. Getting awards and all different types of accolades for being a team player and for being such an amazing employee. But we're struggling in our personal romantic relationships. Scott said real quick, I wonder if the gender roles aren't somewhat biological. Estrogen and testosterone affect brain chemistry and how we bond. Yes, so I actually read a lot of articles about the estrogen, the testosterone, and also with the masculine and the feminine. Okay, so that definitely, I think, plays a part. But honestly, at the end of the day, we do what we want to do. Okay, Well, we will show up to a job that has nothing to do. Oh, thank you so much. Okay. Let me see. Hey, Avery, have you seen couples you knew where the man fell back because of job loss or illness and the wife was comfortable working and contributing more? Yes. And we are going to get to that because my guest and I were saying, and I know I'm jumping around, but we also talked about that sometimes, like, it's supposed to be fluid. It's supposed to be fluid. So there may be times that the woman has to step up, okay, and do her part or be the main breadwinner or anything like that. Or even it could be household stuff, whatever it is. And the man has to fall back, whether it is job loss, illness, or you also have relationships where somebody has to travel or they get a promotion and they have to move away. And a lot of the daily load is on the other person. Because let's say a woman got a promotion, okay, and she has to leave. And they have kids, and the kids are back home with the husband. And now he's combing hair, taking care of the kids, working, taking care of the house. Now, granted, they're going to move with her in a couple of months, but right now, let's say she had to get up there first, or vice versa. There's definitely going to be a time where when you're in these roles and you have these responsibilities, it has to be fluid. That's the only way it's going to work. It can't be set in stone, but it also cannot not exist. You have to have them because then you know who's going to do what. In this moment, who's responsible for what? It helps the flow of the relationship. It helps take the stress off of each other. It's like, okay, no, I know he's got it. He's going to do this, this, and this. Okay. And he knows that on these days, I'm responsible for, all of these things, or no matter what it is. But and those are just the tasks, like the daily things, the errands, the cooking, the cleaning, the maintenance to the house, lawn care, because just some men don't want to have anything to do with lawn care. They will call somebody to handle it, which is perfectly fine. But either it's just not their thing or they're busy, which is totally fine. But also when it just comes to the intimacy, arguments, decision-making, there's a lot that goes into it. But when people hear gender role, they instantly think, well, not everybody. Women hear gender roles, responsibility, or expectations in a relationship. And a lot of us think, oh my gosh, handcuff me right now. And not in a good way. Okay. Not them kind of handcuffs. Handcuff me. I am over. Okay. I'm in the house. And you guys know my favorite line, barefoot and pregnant. Just shackle me to the dishes. This is my life. And we think of the macho man. Like he goes out, he does what he wants, he makes the money, he comes home, and he has a servant, which I will get to that because I talked about being of service to your partner because honestly, right now it's 2021. Everybody's gender roles and their responsibilities and their expectations are going to look different in their relationships. Okay. So if me and here I go, Brandon, all right, I'm using you as an example. Okay. So if Brandon and I were in a relationship, all right, our relationship, as far as our roles and responsibilities, may look different than Scott and his wife. Okay. Now, there may be some things that are the same, especially if I am the type of woman who appeals to traditional gender roles. So if I want a man who is very masculine and an alpha male and, protect, provide, all of this kind of stuff, even if I have a job and I still may work or whatever, but I can lean more into my feminine. Okay. And that's what attracts us to each other. And we're compatible when it comes to our perception of gender roles and responsibilities. Now, if Brandon gets sick, and something happens, babe, I got you. So I'm still a feminine woman, but it's my part of my partnership. Okay. So if he has to fall back, I have the ability to step up. If I have to fall back, he has the ability to continue to lead. All right. Oh, thank you, Brad. All right. Okay. So really quick, let's see. Chris Pullen said, a lot of these skills have been lost on this generation. Many of my friends can't change oil, tires, fix anything, let alone mow a yard. Okay, so perfect, Chris, and you were absolutely right. That 100%. And I think that's just the generation where people now are kind of lazy and those skills just aren't taught. You don't have a lot of men, whether it's the father, the uncle, or the grandfather, outside on the weekend showing their sons or grandsons, now look, son, this is how you're going to change a tire if a woman needs you. Or if you need to, not even that, change a tire for yourself. You got men on the side of the road like, I need help. And there's nothing wrong with that. It could be somebody that has their suit on or they're tired or they can't do it. But the things that a lot of people, all of that has been lost. Just like when it comes to women fixing a plate. I don't see anything wrong with it. I don't think my guest sees anything wrong with it, because what that means is that I can fix your plate, but I'm probably going to be with a man who's like, no, babe, I got it. I can fix yours as well. There's times where he may bring me my plate. Or if he decides to cook, like, oh, I found this recipe, I want to make this, I want you to try it. But that's the thing, it's give and take. At the end of the day, like my guest said before, it's not always going to be 50-50. But in the end, we both are pouring in because we both have to get something from the relationship. But it's not going to be 50-50 every day. Some days, somebody's going to give a little bit more than the next person. But when it comes to these gender roles, and we're talking between men and women in a romantic relationship, it's not going to work if I'm leading in my masculinity and then I'm with an alpha male. It's like, where do we meet? Especially when it comes to decision making or disagreements. If we are both operating out of the same space, there's going to come a time when we collide, So really quick, and we're going to read Darian's message in a second. Okay. Yes. No. So Scott, yeah, no, you definitely shouldn't be keeping score at all. But some people are like, well, you did this and I did that. And no, but it just means that when I say at the end of the day, that means when the relationship is over, if both people pass, they should both feel like they got something out of the relationship. One person shouldn't feel like they completely compromised their whole existence and being, because that also happens. You may have relationships where one person is always compromising and always doing everything, and that's not healthy either. There has to be some type of balance. We both pour in because we're both going to be taking out. But sometimes Scott may pour into his relationship a little bit more than his wife. She can have something going on with her family or work and is taking her attention more over there. Not that she's, forgetting about her man, but she has some other people that need her in the moment. So he may have to give a little bit more. And there may be times that Scott has stuff that's pulling at him more, and she has to give a little bit more. But, you have people nowadays who are keeping score. No, that's not my responsibility. Nope. See, right here on this day, that's not what that's about. Like, that's not operating out of love. You're keeping tabs, you're keeping score. You're saying this is beneath me. That's not my responsibility. That's not my role. All of that. So I'm going to bring my guest in really quick. Okay. Baby, we're going to keep it raw. We're going to keep it real. We will go to the comments and check you all stuff. Remember, we do have the super chat. We also have Cash App, PayPal, but this time I'm going to try to do a better job of reading the comments, even if she's talking, okay? So, and the reason I wanted this guest is because she is very real. And even if we don't agree, she's going to say it, but we're going to respect each other. And she has the type of relationship that I would say, I don't consider her a traditional woman, but she is very traditional in a sense when it comes to certain gender roles and responsibilities. Now, to me, she is married to what I would consider a very masculine alpha male. Okay. And this is a compliment. They complement each other very well. Okay. And they are a true team, because a team is not perfect, but we're going to figure it out. We're going to do what we got to do for the group, whether it's the household, the kids, or just our relationship. We're going to work it out, because in the end, we want to win together. Same team. Because in the end, we're not going to different sides of the court, of the ring, of the field. We're coming back together. And one thing that she mentioned to me, and I'm about to bring her in, was she made a promise. And I'm going to say this, and I hope I don't get in trouble. I'm going to look at her and see. She made a promise to herself that no matter what they have going on, they will not go to bed in separate rooms. They can be angry at each other. It can be like, no, screw you. I'll talk to you tomorrow. But we're not going to bed in separate rooms. Okay. And there's also things that she said that she does if she knows that he's not comfortable doing, and vice versa. But I also know her husband, and he's quiet, but it's also like, it's that masculine quiet, that alpha male quiet. I don't have to bark orders and do all this, but it's like, if he's showing up and he's going to say something, that's it. Don't even, don't even say anything else. It's kind of like, all right, let me let him be. But they play this very well. Okay. This game of life and marriage and friendship and relationships. But I'm sure they had to figure it out along the way, and they still are. But yeah, I did want to talk to a woman who doesn't come off as what other women would say, very docile, timid, like, oh yes, honey, whatever you want. She has some spark to her, she's a firecracker. But she knows when to turn it on and when to turn it off. And she also knows how it works out with her husband. Okay. So she may be a spark. She may be a firecracker, but it's not blowing up at him. You know what I'm saying? There's no competition. No competition. They both stand their own. They are amazing. I think they are, what do I call it? A standard. They're very real. Okay. They're very real. And I think if more women saw someone like her and could understand, okay, like, I can still be who I am. I can still work. I can still fix myself up when I want to. I can do all of these things and still be a good mate, a good partner, and a teammate to my husband. And I'm not in competition with him. All right. So I am going to bring her in. Hello. So we all have these.
Hey guys.
These
Okay.
on.
Excuse my drive-through headphones, but we couldn't get it to work, so this is what you guys get today. Hi guys.
Okay. So, and when I say firecracker, in a good way, like she has an amazing personality and energy. You know, just well, that's why I call her a firecracker. Guys probably wouldn't say a firecracker, but I mean, she's just a light. She just has a great energy wherever she goes. She's the type of woman that people are like, oh, it's something about her, you know, but she's not phony with it. She just is who she is. It's very genuine, and you cannot help but love her, you know? So that's why I want to bring her in, and we're both in here. She has her drive-through headset on. I'm in the studio about to drop a diss track.
Your order, please, darling.
Right. And she is in Houston.
I am
she is in Houston. Okay, so I call her B. What's everybody calls her? B. Oh, Scott,
hey,
I'm glad you said this. So really quick. So we call her B or Queen B. All right. So Scott really quick said, I let my wife handle conflicts until it gets too real. Then I'll step up and problem solve. And when that happens, she steps back like I tried to warn you. Okay, Scott, the reason I pulled this up, B, what do you have to say? Because I know this is kind of how you guys do things.
So, where did she steps back like I tried to warn you? Hi guys, I'm Bridget. You can call me B. I let my wife handle conflicts until it gets too real. What do you mean? What kind of conflicts, Scott? Like what gets too real? Hi, Scott. How are you? I'm great. How about yourself? When you say too real and conflicts, what type of conflicts are you talking about?
So, and Scott's I think Scott's an alpha male. So I think I know what he's talking about without really knowing a situation. Because I think we have had a conversation before with certain things where it's like, okay, you handle it, because if your husband has to handle it, it's done. So there's certain things that you can kind of, well, you know, certain things that you can kind of, now conflicts, whether it's just like a little disagreement, it's like, okay, I'm going to try to handle it. I'll figure it out. Because if I have to call on him, it's a wrap.
It's a wrap. If that's what you're referring to, Scott, yes, 100%. That is what goes on over here. I will try to solve the issue. However, if he has to come in, then that's probably going to be a problem. He's a very quiet, laid-back guy, but so I think I follow you on that.
Right. Because if he shows up, it's like, you know, it's like you almost try to handle something. Like when you're a child, you try to handle it to an extent before it has to go to the parent.
But I will say, on the flip side to that, he will try to handle something before he has to bring me into it. Because if he's bringing me into it, that's a whole nother ball game. So again, balance, people. I don't even really get what roles are. I have no. Avery was like, "Hey, it's on." I'm like, "What the hell are those gender roles?" This is going to be complete. I'm not formal. This is going to be formal about me today. I'm completely informal. I'm just going to be real. I had to Google a lot of these different roles, gender roles and traditional. I don't know what that like.
You know why? Because a lot of people, now, not a lot of people, but when you end up, hey, Keita, when you end up with someone you're compatible with, when it comes to like the masculine and feminine, when it comes to gender roles, it will just naturally kind of sync. Now, here's the thing. You may, and then I'm going to start over when it comes to traditional gender roles. You can have a man who is attracted to women who kind of lead in their masculinity, who are very kind of like assertive and maybe go-getters and other things. They may be attracted to them. But when it comes to being in a romantic relationship with them, they may not be able to do it because sometimes that woman doesn't know how to stop leading in her masculinity when it comes to a romantic relationship. So say it's an attorney and he sees her in the courtroom and she is doing her thing. He could be like, dang, like, that's sexy. She's handling her business. Now they go out on some dates and she still has that same energy and is still leading in her masculinity in her romantic life. And she does not know how to fall back, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, he's an alpha male. So it's like, okay, we both can't be the same, At some point, I'm not compatible with that. We're like button heads. Whether it's the check comes, she's taken out to pay for it. And I've done this before with somebody, and they were so insulted that I took my card out to pay, and they looked at me like, what are you doing? But I was actually doing it like as a kind gesture because I had traveled and we met up and I was like, oh, I'm in town. I'm going to treat. When I say he was pissed, and I've never done it again unless I asked the person or said, hey, I want to treat you. And it's the type of thing where it was like, okay, it was almost like a battle of me trying to show him like, oh, I got this. I know you got it, but I got it too. Oh, you're going to get the door, but I'm going to beat you to it. Like that kind of thing. And certain men, they don't flow well with like that because it's like, okay, well, now I feel like I'm out with my boy who happens to have breasts and hips. I'm kind of with the teammate. Oh, Laura said, I agree. Okay, so wait, let's go back to Scott. He said, oh, well, on things that I am good at, I'll deal with it. If I ask for help, she steps in. But I'm talking about conflicts. Okay. Okay, now let's see. We're going to go to Brandon really quick. All right. Hello, Miss B. My name is Brandon, and my question is this. My father told me that when it comes to disagreements with women, that in most cases, I should pick my battles wisely. Do you agree?
Absolutely. 100%. But disagreements like what? It just really depends. But yeah, I choose my battles wisely.
I think we all should. Okay, so really quick, I'm gonna get back to these gender roles, traditional gender roles. Okay, so traditional gender roles kind of fall in line with what we think of masculine traits and feminine traits. Okay. So you may have stuff where the man is the problem solver.
Okay.
He's the what else? He's more assertive. He's not as emotional. And those are just like literally just a few.
Another one.
Go ahead.
Takes care of finances. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
That's what the traditional gender
All
role
of
is.
that. And then the woman is, we lead with our heart more. We're nurturing, we're empathetic, we're compassionate. We are stay at home. Now those are real traditional, okay?
We
So
cook,
those are just
take care of the children,
we
traditional.
take care of the children, all of that, okay? Now, the thing is that oh, hold on. Okay, we're gonna come back to you in 1 second. Okay, so those are traditional gender roles. The man's coming out of the house, he's making the money, he's taking care of the finances, the maintenance of the house, the woman staying at home. Okay, she's nurturing, she's compassionate, she's, and also the man is, when it comes to intimacy, okay, he's leading in that. All right, so we're just thinking alpha males and a very more, what some women would say, a timid woman. Okay, so it's this notion that women can't step outside the house. We're not the breadwinners. We're not calling up to get the lawn taken care of or anything like that. We're just kind of like stay-at-home moms or stay-at-home wives. And also that women, when it comes to physical appearance, okay? So skirts, dresses, heels. Now we're going really kind of traditional, okay? But all of that. Now, obviously, most of us have grown up in homes a lot now in the 21st century where our moms worked, our fathers worked, or we had single parent households. So we saw our moms do it all. Or like in my house, both my parents worked. Excuse me. My dad combed our hair sometimes, but my dad's an alpha male. But he was a fireman. So he would have those shifts where he would work so many days and then he would be off. And my mom had a regular, daily schedule. She was a school teacher. So there were times where she had to be at work and he was off from the firehouse. So he was taking us to school. He was getting us dressed. He was combing our hair and, and vice versa. But he was still very much, the alpha male. Now, my mom also led in her masculinity with certain things. And I think that's why they bumped heads a lot. They took care of us. And I guess, I had a good upbringing, but when it came to me seeing how a man operated and a woman would operate, I didn't really see some of that femininity come out, which is why I struggled with it for years because I never had an example of it. So I didn't know how to lead in my femininity. And when it came to gender roles, my idea of a gender role for a woman was like, I'm gonna do it all. Whatever I gotta do. If I gotta take care of the kids, if I gotta cut the grass, if I gotta get the cars fixed, it's like I can do it all. Because what I thought of as traditional gender roles was suffocating. And it was like, wait a minute, you want me to bow down to you, not understanding that if it's a healthy relationship and the man is doing his part and the woman is doing her part, they work together, it's compatible, we feed off of each other, and it flows like water. The man isn't asking the woman to diminish who she is, and she is not emasculating him. So if a woman, so to speak, nowadays, excuse me, I gotta get this off. If she's working outside the house or anything like that, it doesn't mean that she has to emasculate him and that she can't serve her man food. Okay. It doesn't mean that if he's like, hey, babe, I want to go on a date, I would like to see you in a dress, that she's like, what do you mean? I'm not about to wear a dress. That's not what I do. I'm not that type of woman. We should be able to do both, because depending on the type of person you're with, they are going to be attracted to certain roles and traits. Like and you can tell me if you agree, I am attracted to a man who I feel like can protect me if somebody rolls up on us. Now, I also know how to protect myself. Got that heat. No. Got that burner on me. I got these hands. No, but seriously, even though I should be aware of my surroundings and I should know how to protect myself, baby, let me tell you, if I am with a man and he is going to run up behind me and hide, or if he sees somebody, he's going to be acting real scary, major turn off. And that's a gender role. The man should be a protector. I don't want to feel like we're both out here hiding behind some bushes. So that's one way to look at it. Just like a man might say, well, if a woman wants me to be her protector, I want a woman who may cook for me sometimes. Or if we're going out, she fixes herself up. Now, here's the thing. If a man says, I want my woman to, let's say, work out and take care of her body, that's what I'm attracted to. It's like, how dare you ask her to do that? But if we say, I want a man who can provide and protect me, it's like, that's what you should ask for. Absolutely. And he should do that without a doubt. You see, but that's what women are attracted to. We're attracted to somebody who could be a provider, somebody who can offer security, like whether in protection. But men may be attracted to a woman who keeps a clean home, even if she works, but she can keep a clean home. She can take care of herself. Not that she needs to be decked out head to toe every day, but when it's time for them to step out, she knows how to pull it together, baby. Because I'm gonna tell you all right now, baby, when she steps out like she's going to the Grammys, don't let her fool you. Going to the Grammys, I'm like, I know her husband feels like he got a different girl every day of the week. I'm serious. Okay. So B, what do you feel?
Sorry. Okay. Where should I start?
So when it comes to the attraction and gender roles, for example.
Let's go with I want to protect. I don't even know if most women really know what they want. And this is why I say that. I say that because
True.
I feel that it starts when you're young. So depending on what, my mom did not work. My mom folded the clothes. She cooked when she wanted to. She took care of the kids. And my dad went to work. And if my mom wanted to work, she could work. So that's what I grew up with. I rarely ever heard them argue. She was the traditional woman, and he did what he had to do to provide for his children. That's what I saw in my house. And if she wanted to work, go work. It wasn't, I just saw a balance. And so that's what I know. I don't mind working. I do work. I don't mind, but that's what I grew up with. My mom was a kept woman. I mean, she kept herself up is what I mean. Her parents, I mean, that is important. So there's nothing wrong with a man saying, I want my woman to look this way. You should.
Yes.
You should. You should want her to look a certain way, as I too want you to look a certain way. So I don't see anything. I don't stand these roles and how women, I don't know if it's women, and I can't comprehend, like I can't connect the dots. I understand what the world says, but I don't identify with any of this stuff. I do what I have to do as a wife and as a mother.
Okay, but really quick, that So that right there, and I've seen how you move as a woman and a feminine woman, and you may not think so, but you do, because when you just said, I do what I am supposed to do and what I have to do as a wife and as a mother, that's you're fulfilling your responsibilities in your role.
I'm going to make sure I look. I'm going to make sure that that my husband finds me attractive. I'm going to make sure that I do my wifely duties.
Yep.
I'll cook when I want to, or I'll say I'm not cooking. There are no rules. We just make things happen.
Now, has he ever, now say, for example, because see, this is the thing when it comes to cooking. But see, that's the thing. It has to work for your relationship.
I do not like to cook. There's nothing fun about cooking. I don't enjoy it. I don't find pleasure. I don't cook with love.
Okay. And that's another thing. That? No, you can say that.
I just don't. I despise cooking. Sorry. But I cook.
Oh, awesome. Okay. So interested to know what a traditional man, traditional woman looks like in the 21st century. Thank you. Okay. So really quick, but you do cook, because I'll be talking to you like, oh, I'm cooking. Now, does your husband cook?
Yeah.
Does he like to cook?
Yeah, he doesn't mind cooking. I cook majority throughout the week because he's providing and he's out working, just because I don't like it doesn't mean that I'm not going to do it. I'm absolutely going to feed my family. I just
okay.
It's not anything that I enjoy.
So that's the thing. It's not killing you to cook, even though you may not like it. But look at what you're saying. You're saying, I'm going to feed my family. And that's what you're supposed to do. Not everybody likes getting up and going to work every day. There may be sometimes that a man's like, oh, he's stressed out, or he's just over the job, or he's just tired. But he still gets up and goes.
For his family.
Everything that you're saying, you'd be surprised. A lot of women would not say that. So that is
what aren't they going to say? What aren't they going to say? That they don't want to cook?
No, they would say they don't want to cook, and I'm not cooking.
Will they? That's a problem. That's a huge problem. So if you don't want to cook,
I don't like cooking either. I know how to cook, and so sometimes I do like to cook, but when I'm busy with the kids and ripping and running, I'm just like, oh, let me cook. But I'm a cook, it's gonna get done, or I'm gonna get something.
Guess what? Because if I don't cook,
but you're not,
somebody else knows how. It's just
yes.
It's not rocket science. If I don't cook, she can cook.
Yep. And she will cook.
Don't get too complacent. Don't get too comfortable. Never ever get too comfortable.
Tell them.
I am 15 years in, and 8 years. I've been married for 8 years. We've been together for 15. He's 10 years older than I am. I'm 40. I don't mind telling you guys my age. He'll be 50 soon.
Does she look amazing?
Look, I know there's a lot of fish in the sea out here. So I'm going to do what I have to do. I'm not traditional, but I am. I mean, I'm going to cook. I'm going to clean. I'm going to do the laundry. I'm going to keep up the home. I am going to step out and be top notch when I step out with my husband. Those are the things I am going to do.
And those are traditional gender roles when it comes to the woman. Those are healthy. To me, those are healthy traditional gender roles. None of those things are diminishing who you are as a woman and as an individual. But those things, a lot of women, girls, chicks today struggle with, because everything that you mentioned is you serving. It's being of service, not only to your husband, but also to your family. But so you benefit from it.
Okay, but so here's the thing. And this may be a little bit off the topic of gender roles, but I have to throw it out there because I've never claimed to be this independent chick who just wants to do it all. And I feel like that ties into traditional and gender roles.
Yes.
I'm not team independent women.
Now let's go there. I was waiting for you to say
well, I don't even know why you would want, like, it sounds, I cringe when I hear it. So
okay. Now, why do you think that is?
Because they don't know any better. They don't, seriously, a lot of this has to deal with what you've seen when you were coming up. What did you see? What you don't, if you don't know any better, you just follow the crowd. And we have a lot of followers in the world. There's not enough leaders. There's a lot of, I want to be this, I want to have 6 degrees and I want to, and I can do it by myself and damn it. I just
okay. Now those degrees.
So I say I'm traditional, but I'm not. But I am, because I love a man to take on his roles.
Right. Okay, and that's the thing. I'm not for the whole like, let me chase degrees. Let me take on this load. You know, let me buy this property, have this house, do it all on my own, raise the kids on my own. That's not attractive to me. I feel like that would suck more life out of me. And I would lose myself more trying to be the, leading my masculinity, be the independent woman.
This assertive, and then where does the angry Black woman come from?
Because you got to do it all on your own.
You out of here? Right. Look, so do you think that independent women are part of the reason why gender role lines are blurred? Absolutely. But if you don't have anybody if you didn't have an example, you're just out here following the crowd, the masses. You're out here in La La Land. And La La Land is social media.
No, I agree.
And have a conversation with them.
Right. And when you're also, like, I saw Scott and Brad were also talking about having that balance within a relationship. Okay. So when it comes to, let's say, the independent woman, I can do it on my own. Now, this is what happens. That independent woman who is against gender roles then wants a man to put a ring on her finger. Okay? So it's like, oh, I can do it on my own. Then why don't you buy your own ring? Why don't you propose to him? So you have some people who only want to go with the traditional gender roles
when it benefits them.
When it benefits them and them alone. So now you have the independent woman who wants the man to put a ring on her finger. Okay, now they're married, but she's still independent. She's still trying to operate within a joint union, within a team, independently. So they're not going to have that balance. It's going to be constantly. or to where the man then is like, you know what? Forget it. Do what you want to do. And he is slowly leaving the relationship mentally and emotionally because it has to be her way. There's no balance. You know, it's not like this. It's like, you know, it's like you can't join a team or have two people together, but I want to function separately.
And Avery, it's really not that hard. It's not rocket science. Men are not complicated creatures.
Right.
I know what my husband likes and what he needs, and it's not rocket science. I can count on one hand what would make him extremely happy. It's not rocket science. So I don't know where we start dictating what I maybe we do need to go back to the I don't get it. I don't know.
So I'm gonna tell you really quick.
Got lost.
When it comes to the roles and the responsibilities, okay? It is a conversation that needs to be had that a lot of people don't have because they don't want to talk about it. Just like they don't want to talk about the whole submission thing or expectations. You know, there are certain things that you expect from a man or a romantic partner or your husband, and there are certain expectations he is going to have of you. But then you also have your own personal expectations of what you want to be as a wife, and he may have them as what he wants to be as a husband or a boyfriend. So what needs to happen is we have to talk more. And we talked about it. It's communication. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, what do you expect of me? Or what do you find attractive in a woman? And vice versa. Because it may be, and this is not about the physical necessarily, but it's all of those things that we talked about. Because you can find yourself physically attracted to somebody, but then nothing else clicks. The mental connection, and then also how they move, how they carry themselves. A man can see a woman, you know, obviously he sees her with his eyes first. Okay, she looks good. He could bring her home and she could be so trifling. She doesn't want to do anything. She's very complacent. She doesn't want to cook. She doesn't want to clean. Not only that kind of stuff. She doesn't want to speak life into him. She doesn't want to support him. She doesn't, you know, nothing. Just nothing. It's just like she sees herself as the prize. I don't have to work on myself and I don't have to work on this. But a lot of women girls have a sense of entitlement now. And
well,
it's Avery, like you got me.
Case in point, there are a lot of women who want to be married and they're not. Mm-hmm. It's not rocket science. I don't know why they can't figure this out. And I don't know. I guess maybe it's a self-esteem thing, or it's just they don't have anybody to talk to, or they don't have any role model. It's not.
No, girl, they don't want to listen. Because see, I've been trying to tell them.
And they
and the first thing they say is, sis, are you married?
Well,
not anymore, but I was for almost 10 years. And I'm telling you, it's experience. I'm trying to tell you all. I know some of the things to do that work, and I can definitely tell you what not to do. And it has nothing to do with your partner. And here's another thing. Apart from whoever I was married to, he could have been perfect. I still had things as a woman that I had to work on. And one of the main things was stepping into my femininity, letting go of some of that control and that grip, that grip that I had, and knowing that it's okay to be vulnerable, knowing that, it's okay to really, like I said, walk in my femininity, and it does not make me a weak woman. Mm-hmm. So our examples of what a strong woman is are that independent, do it on my own. I'm not going to wait on you. I'm not going to nurture you. I'm not going to be vulnerable with you. I don't need you. And when we get with a man, it doesn't work like that. If we get with the man, it doesn't work like that. Mm-mm. At all. So like now, once I started to, open up and knew, okay, this is how a woman moves. And it's okay for me to feel, it's okay for me to open up. It's okay for me to fall back. This is where my strength lies. I don't have to be so like, all the time. Once I started to do that, baby, when I say you attract more flies with honey, or is it bees with honey or flies with buttermilk, whatever it is.
Let me tell you. So
the women, I know a lot of women who want to be married.
Me too.
And I know a lot of women who just want to be in relationships
too.
And they're looking at me, some of them, like, and let's just be honest. Oh, I hate to say this, but not to toot my own. Like, Avery, you have, from the outside looking in, okay, you have 3 kids. How are you attracting these guys?
I was going to get to that. Is where I was going next.
Okay. So I'm gonna let you go on there. And they like, they're looking at me. I know they're looking at me like, how does she do it? Like, what is she doing?
I'm going to tell you.
Okay, go ahead.
So I wanted to say, when I met my husband, I have twin girls. I had 2, and they were 2 years old. And here he is, this bachelor with this doing well for himself. We were friends in the beginning, and then it turned into something. I'm sure he had Linda, Trina, what did DMX say?
Right.
There were a lot of different women that he could have chose, but for whatever reason, I did ask him that question: why me? Like, what was it about me that was different? And I think you guys know, when you see, again, it's not rocket science. Men know when they find their wife. Men know who they're going to marry just off the bat. It's not. I believe that. Do you guys believe that you know who your wife is going to be when you meet that person? Because I think that's how that happened.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right, Scott. Is it marriage is not a prize, it's a title. And marriage, I don't get it. Like, what is this big thing with having to be married and wanting to be a Mrs. And
because they want that, but they don't want to do the work. It's like, how do you want to be a wife, but you don't want to be a wife?
They think they want that. They have not a clue of what it is. I've never wanted the traditional wedding and the hundreds of thousands of people at the wedding that I'm feeding everyone. Huh? We went to Vegas. My dress cost $10.
But see, that's what. So here's the thing.
That's who I am.
That's when. But you were doing it for the right reasons. But that's also why you have a lot of people who get married, and the next year they're filing for divorce, and they are still paying on that wedding. But you cannot want to be a wife and then say no to the things that a wife should be doing. Same thing if it's a husband. You can not want to be a husband, but then sit on the couch and play video games all day long. It's like, how are you serving me? How are you serving this union? And even when I was married, oh yeah, like the cooking, the cleaning, taking care of the kids, taking care of the house. And there's a lot more just because he traveled 90-something% of the time. And that's also where I had a problem, because then he may have been in town 5 days out of the month, but I was so used to physically being there on my own and having, the routine and everything down, that when he came there, it was almost like, I didn't know how to fall back because I had to be on so much, but it's practice. Like some of the guys were saying, it's practice. Where I'm at now, I had to practice. When I started dating, when I say down to like going to the car door, and literally sometimes I felt like I was trying to squeeze my arms to the side of my body. Like, don't you open that door. Like, don't try to go for the door. I had to practice it. Practice makes perfect. I had to know how to not reach for my wallet when the bill came. And I told you guys about that one story when I pulled it out, and he was like, look, and he, in a respectful way, but he wasn't playing. He was like, don't do that anymore. Like, that was an insult. But I had to practice it. I had a friend who was like, Avery, let him be a man. You be the woman. And now, me knowing how to be the woman, it has taken so much stress off of me. And that's what people don't understand.
It's like not rocket science for anything.
It's not rocket science.
I mean, yes, it's work.
Yes.
It's work, but you just figure it out. I'm kind of reading these comments over this.
I know, we need to go to him. Okay. So he had a question. It was the super chat. Now let me see. Now here's another thing. I got to figure out how to get back to it. Okay, you may have to put it up again, because I think I might have to scroll.
Yeah, can you find it again and see if you how do you pronounce? I'm sorry.
How do you pronounce your name? I don't even want to mispronounce it because I hate when people mispronounce.
Because my name is not names. Bridget. My name is Bridget. Can you try to find yours again and put it up?
Okay, so I'm gonna scroll. You guys, I'm gonna be scrolling. When I scroll, can you still see the comments?
Yep.
Okay. Can you see them now, or is it?
I can still see them. The healthy, happy.
Okay, so you can't see me scrolling. Okay. Good.
I have my own.
Oh, here we go. I found it. 2 to 4 years in a serious relationship and marriage. What are some ways a guy? Let me see. What are some ways a guy, or what are some things a guy can do to not make the wife feel like she's stuck, like she was giving up her freedom? Okay. So 2 to 4 years in a serious relationship. Okay, so that's another.
I didn't feel like I was stuck. What do you mean?
That's the first thing. That's the first thing I'm going to say. I don't know if that early on, that's your responsibility to make her feel like she's not stuck. She shouldn't feel stuck.
If I feel stuck at 2 to 4 and it's between 2 to 4,
she shouldn't have got married.
I'm out. Are you guys married or not? Because
are you married? Because just because she's with you, she shouldn't feel stuck. It was her decision. It was her decision too to get with you. I don't know if you should carry that burden to make her feel.
It's not your job to make her feel like shouldn't be stuck.
Right. Now, if you're doing, now I will say this, if you are a team player, because it does go both ways. Okay. Now I'm speaking from a woman's perspective, and I know how a lot of women feel now, because I've had a lot of friends, like B said, who want to be married, but then I also see these long lists of what they want a man to do, his role, his responsibilities, and then there's their list. Okay. Now, if you were doing what you were supposed to do as a partner and as a friend, okay, if you are allowing her to be who she is, if you're supportive, if you love her, if you guys communicate well, I don't know why she would feel stuck. You know, so I don't really know if that's your responsibility. Like we said, if she feels stuck, that may be a personal, that could be a personal thing.
Because
a lot of women may feel stuck, but it has nothing to do with the man. It's their mindset.
Unless she doesn't work and she's taking care of the children. I don't know why she would feel stuck. Unless, is there a reason why she's feeling stuck? Like, I don't know why she's feeling stuck.
Yeah.
They lose themselves. Also, it was something I wanted to tell you guys. Oh, this is like, if we're talking marriage, I'm not always going to be on my P's and Q's. So, and neither is he.
Right.
But I've never felt stuck.
And that's why I like what Scott said really quick. Thank you, Scott. Because, you know, with us being women, they might have been like, oh, you guys are being mean. You're picking on her. But Scott basically said the same thing. Either she wants to be there or she doesn't. She's either on the team or you're not. So, yes. Let me see.
Okay.
Oh, she wanted to pursue her career.
Okay, what's wrong with, okay, do it.
Then if she can pursue it, she should pursue it. So if you're supporting her and saying like, yes, babe, go after your career. Oh, I don't know what that was. Okay. But if you're saying like, yes, babe, go after your career, I support you emotionally, mentally. I don't know if you have to support her financially. So if she'd have to go back to school or whatever, then she should do it. But a lot of women feel that once they get married, because of how they perceive it, that they have to give up on their dreams. And they blame the man for making them give up on their dreams when the man never told them that they had to. They just in their mind think that, and they start to get this internal bitterness and anger because now they're looking at their partner like, it's because of you I wasn't able to do these things, when the man never asked them to give it up. And that's what I'm saying when it comes to these roles, responsibilities, expectations. These are all the types of things that we have to constantly talk about. And you almost sometimes, if you really want to, have to write them out.
All right.
So the guy that I'm dating, he's like, look, very upfront. I don't need you to do this. I don't need you to do this. Okay. And I don't ask much, but when I say something, when I speak on something, I'm going to need you to listen. And if you don't, that's on you, but I'm gonna fall back. So it's you know how to move and you talk to each other. You talk to each other. There's things that B said, it's not rocket science if you listen. Now that's a whole nother thing. Because a lot of us don't listen.
But a lot of us will be by ourselves.
Right. That's why we'll be by ourselves. If you listen, like this time around, I'm like, girl, shut up and listen. If you listen, the person will tell you exactly what they need from you during that time and what they expect of you, or just what they need from you also for the long run. Because there's going to be certain things that are just a deal breaker. It's like, okay, if I am a man who has my own business, or not even that, I'm just out working and grinding, I want to know that you have my back and that you support me. Like, you're speaking life into me. You're asking me how work is, all of that kind of stuff. You're not adding any stress because you know that I already have so much on me in the business or at work. Okay? So many men will say, I don't want to feel like my woman is in competition with me. So that's my responsibility. My responsibility is to be supportive. My responsibility is to be compassionate and empathetic. So if he has to be on all the time for everyone else, he knows that he can come to me. He can let his guard down, and I'm going to talk to him. I'm going to listen to him. I'm going to let him bounce ideas off of me. And he's meeting me and he feels that welcomeness. It's like, okay, I'm home. With this person, I'm at home. With this person, I can take a deep breath. With this person, I'm at peace. With this person, I am stronger. I am better. They add to my life, and they're not constantly taking from me. And I'm not constantly in a battle and in a fight for power and control and the shine and, all of that kind of stuff. Okay. Let me see. Somebody said we don't want an opponent at all. But you're going to get it. You're going to get it with a lot of these women out here. They may, you are definitely going to get it. And what they don't understand is that you can do the things like B said. Yeah, I don't like cooking, but I'm not going to let my family starve. I'm going to cook because I know if I don't cook,
someone else to cook for him.
I don't want nobody else to cook for him. I'm going to take care of the house. I'm going to make sure it's clean, the laundry, the girls are okay. You got your meals. And when I step out with my husband, baby, I'm stepping all the way out. I'm constantly turning his head. And he knows that not only do I look good for him, but that he is taken care of mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. All his needs are met with me.
Now, has there been times where I was lacking? Absolutely.
Because you're human.
Did I feel that in our relationship? Absolutely. And vice versa. But again, this is a marriage. This is what you're going to work at. There's no perfect marriage. There's going to be ups and downs. But when you hit that when you hit that bump that you never ever want to hit again, like that ugly, ugly bump, you figure it out.
Yes.
You figure it out and you just do. You just.
And sometimes, you know what? The ugly bumps in marriage or in life are wake up calls.
I wanted, if you can call it a split, you can call it a time off, you can call it what you want to call it. But you can be 20 years in and still not know your mate.
Yes.
So.
And not know them. And that's what people don't understand. You will have, because I've been in a relationship like where, like I said, when it comes to the expectations or all of that, it all comes back to that. That's why when you have teams, clearly defined roles, expectations, and they talk about it. And then they constantly have team meetings. We're going to check in. And sometimes those roles and expectations change. But you will have two people, they don't know each other. They don't fulfill each other's expectations, but they never told each other. So it's like, I'm running over here telling my friends, well, what does he expect me to do? What does he expect of me? What does he want me to do?
Single friends, friends that aren't even married and can't even add any value to what it is. Leaning on single friends.
Yes, that's a whole nother thing. And then you'll have the guy saying, I mean, I go to work, I pay the bills. What more does she want from me? But they're not talking to each other. And that's the thing, is that people feel like, okay, I pay the bills, we're good. The woman's like, I'm here. I got this going on between my legs. Yeah, I've already said that's not your power. Baby, your power does not lie between your legs. Every woman has that. Every woman has that. You got to do something else. You got to bring more to the table. That's not going to keep him. And I know some people will say, oh, nobody, people have to be kept on their own. You can't keep nobody that's going to be kept. No, if you still are in a marriage and you make sure, now, if you do everything you're supposed to be doing and they still are doing whatever, that's on them. But you shouldn't leave any area open in a relationship. And this thing, it's a learning thing. We take a lot for granted. We definitely get complacent. We get comfortable. Or you have some people who just feel that certain tasks are beneath them. And that's what it comes down to. The ultimate gender role to me, and then I'm going to let B share hers, but the ultimate gender role to me is we serve each other, period. No matter whatever that looks like. Because somebody mentioned earlier, what if for some reason the man has to take some time off or he gets sick? So no matter what, and that's fine. Whatever it is, at the end of the day, I am of service to you. You are of service to me.
And how can we not make this foundation crack? Like, I'm going to keep it going. But
it's still, honestly, it is, I think it's the label. It's the stigma attached to the gender role or the just roles and responsibilities in a romantic relationship. It's like, how can you have a relationship or a team and you don't have roles and responsibilities? But we have so many intelligent women, but when it comes to these relationships, it's like they don't understand that it's supposed to go both ways. Like in the workplace, they can understand, but when they get home, they can't seem to understand that whatever they do and how they pour into the relationship and into their man, that he is to do the same. He should be pouring into the relationship and pouring into them. You're not signing your life away, like at all. But you want these relationships, you want the marriages, you want the ring without the responsibilities or with minimal responsibilities. It's like, if you have kids, I had your baby. So, okay.
I like the Christopher Robbins. Read that.
Okay. This is the only way you can have true cooperation, division of tasks. Yes. Okay. So, Christopher, the more a man gets what he wants, the more productive he will be. Yes. You wouldn't starve a racehorse and expect him to. Yes. That's it. That is it. Because also, if the man, like say he's slacking, if you step up
and lead by example and verbalize what it is that he's lacking in, and he chooses to correct it.
And this is what we're saying. These are healthy relationships. We're not talking about no 16-year-olds. We're all grown, okay? A healthy relationship, the balance, the masculine, the feminine, the roles, the responsibilities, no matter which way they go, we're both serving each other. And that is true. The more a man gets, it is like just, I don't even know. It's like a superpower. Like he's supercharged. Like, yeah, what do you need me to do? It could be that same thing you've been asking him to do. Like, hey, babe, don't forget, I'm just making this up, that the gutters need to get cleaned out or whatever. But like, if you give and pour into him, that allows him to do more. Like he said, you cannot starve a racehorse and expect them to win. Go ahead, B.
Men have huge egos. I don't care what anybody says. Men have huge egos. Well, if you stroke it every now and then, that's what you need. Gotta tend to the ego.
You do. Well, stroke your man's ego, because if you don't, somebody else
will.
I know for a fact. Somebody else will. All right. And Scott, you were definitely right. Many of these women think, I was going to do a topic on this one day, that getting a man is like buying a handbag. He's an accessory. This is not the way. Yes. And that's why they don't want to do anything more when it comes to those. Hold on, my my studio headphones. When it comes to not necessarily just keeping a man, but their roles and responsibilities. It's like, I got you. You got me. That's it. I don't have to nourish this relationship. I don't have to pour into it. Nothing else. Like a man is supposed to be content just because now he's with you.
Yep.
No.
Nothing more.
Nothing more. And also, I want to talk really quick. Now, let's talk about this. When it comes to attraction, before we get off, attraction and somebody doing their part. So you're in your role, whatever your role is, and we know it changes, and it depends on your relationship. You're doing your part. That person will find you more attractive. Do you agree?
Yep. Because he's looking real good. He's looking like a snack right about now.
Baby, you looking like a whole meal.
Yeah.
A whole smorgasbord.
Smorgasbord.
But no, if you do your part, and sometimes more, it's not, don't fight it. It's that attraction. And it's beyond that physical attraction, because baby, looks can fade. Or you just get used to, it has nothing to do with look. You just get used to whatever you have in front of you.
Yeah.
But when you're dialed in all those other areas, that's when the man is sitting back looking at his woman and like, can't no chick, I don't care what she looks like, hold a match to mine.
And
when the woman is looking at her man,
yep,
like, I don't care what this dude look like. I don't care what kind of car he drives. I don't care what money he has or what watch he has on. But I know this one right here, you ain't got nothing on him. That's what it's about. It is an attraction, because I'm telling you, women will say, he's lazy, he doesn't do this, he doesn't do that. I don't even find, he's not attractive to me. I'm not attracted to that type of man. Then why would you think a man is going to be attracted to your non-serving self? Like, I don't get it. Like, we just assume like, oh, okay, I don't have to do anything. And he should still be attracted to me? Not if he's like, hey, babe, can you go grocery shopping? Or we need some more, we're out of eggs, or, I need this. No, why didn't you get it when you got off of work? I was at work all day. Eventually, he gonna be like, all right, bet. And he's gonna stop asking. And he may stop come home after work. But he's gonna find you less attractive. And it has nothing to do. You can still get your hair done. You could be working out. But if you're not fulfilling your responsibilities, when you fulfill your responsibilities, you fulfill him. So if you're not doing all that other stuff, eventually, like, you're less attractive. He doesn't even find you appealing anymore. And even when it comes to intimacy. Now, I'm not going to ask B nothing about that.
What? About what?
Intimacy. I see, even when it comes to like your sexual attraction or your intimacy with your partner. Mm-hmm. A lot of that, after you've been with somebody, it's like, what we're doing, how are you fulfilling me?
Mm-hmm. Like right now, the candle is really lit over here. And again, 15 years in, 8 years married.
But
it's gonna go like this. But you have to figure it out.
That's the thing. It's supposed to go like that. Nothing's ever perfect. But if you guys are both invested in the team, it's like, hey, how are we gonna make this work? Because this ain't working. So
the goal is it may look like this, but then eventually I'm trying to get, you just
and then it may go like that again.
Yeah.
But that's life. Life has mountains or hills and valleys. But it's like you got to be able to come up out of them. And you come up out of them by working together, by communicating, by loving each other. But honestly, being on the same side, being on the same team. You might not always like each other. Mm-hmm. There may be some times that he can't stand you, but it doesn't mean he doesn't love you. He's just like, oh, this woman gets on my nerves, and vice versa. But it's like, that's my woman and that's my man. So we're going to figure it out. Okay. A woman can drain a man of sex worth. It's a slow process of tearing him down.
Drain a man.
Very true. Let me see. Here goes Scott. Okay, B. I've been with my wife for 23 years now. You're on the right path, and it's a good path. Girl, I love Scott. Okay, so I love my people on here. And Scott is one of the ones who's been married for a long time, and he drops gems. So he's telling you're on the right path.
Thanks, Scott.
And he is absolutely right. And that's why I wanted to have you, because married or not, I have experienced a lot, and B knows that some people in 40 years of being 40 years of being married. But that was just my purpose. That marriage was an assignment. It was part of God's plan. So it was a lot that happened in that time frame. And it was meant for me to be an example and to learn and to grow from it so I could have these conversations and be open, because a lot of women in my position would not be holding themselves accountable or being like, okay, what areas do I need to work on? And that's the only way I was going to get better. That is the only way I was going to grow. And that's why I have the discussions that I have, because God was telling me, he was like, no, there's a lot of women like this, and that is a problem. And you need to kind of like step up and speak on it, because they're not going to do it. And so, like I said, when it comes to the roles, responsibilities, all of this kind of stuff, at one point, I was like, because I didn't even know what it was. It just sounded like slavery. And I didn't want it. It was like, you finna give me a role, I gotta do what? I gotta serve you. But baby, when you grow up and you step into, like you said, being a wife, being a woman, being a mother, that is your power. It's like, okay, I'm gonna do this because I don't want nobody else doing it, but also your man is doing his part. So you do it out of love. It's not a chore. It's not you giving up your life. It's not you dimming your light. But it's like, this is my team. We're going to win. We may fight along the way. We may have some time apart along the way, a timeout. But whatever we do, I know I'm going to give it my all. I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. And we're going to win together. Same team. Okay. Let's see.
What, before you go, Avery, who is gracious? Wait a minute. You are beautiful. Go.
Okay, wait.
What?
Which one are we looking at?
Someone said something about exercising something.
Oh, shoot. Let me see. Sorry, guys. God said he's an old married dude.
Question to the woman on the right: are you okay with your man if he chooses to exercise his option? I don't know. What are you talking about?
Anybody exercise no options. I don't know what he's talking.
Can you elaborate? You are beautiful.
And then let's see. Let me see if I can find it. People exercise. Nobody's exercising.
Are you
no
okay
options.
with your man if he chose to exercise his option? We don't.
The only exercising. Look at me speaking for her. Wait, who's on the right? Is that me?
I don't know. That's why I was like, well, hell.
The only exercising is exercise.
Hence,
physical fitness.
Right. You can get on a treadmill. I would like for them. Okay. Let's see. Did he elaborate? No.
Okay. Sorry. Let's see this one. We're going to read some more. Game changer. A woman that makes herself the best option doesn't worry about such things. For sure. Be your best self. It's not only for your partner, but it's just for you. Like when I'm doing what I'm supposed to do as a woman, as a grown woman, then it's naturally going to fulfill my partner, my relationship, but also me. I feel like I'm hitting my marks. Oh, okay. Somebody said, are you okay with your man cheating as long as he does not bring home a kid out of marriage? a disease, or embarrass you in public?
Only if he's okay with me cheating with Tiger Woods.
Okay, so Mike, this is how I feel about. Okay, I'm not saying
If
anything.
you're okay with me cheating with Tiger Woods or whomever, then shit. I mean,
that's what I feel like. So when it comes to the
if
cheating,
you're okay, I'm okay. If you're okay with it, I'm okay with it.
yeah. If it can go both
don't
ways,
I mean, let's be fair. I'm gonna be real with you. I'm not even sugar. I'm being 100%. If you're okay with me being, if it's okay for me to not get pregnant, bring home a disease, or embarrass you in public, then by all means, do what you got to do. Just make sure it's a two-way street.
That's what I tell people, and they've
and
asked
then
me
maybe
this
we'll
before.
rekindle, And I'm being real here. I mean, if it's okay with me, if we say to ourselves,
because we're gonna hold,
because there's no rules in marriage, not over here. So we everyone has their own. We don't go by a rule book in marriage. So if he proposed that to me and said, "Hey," and I'm like, you know what? But it has to go both ways. And if we came up on an agreement on that, no kids, no diseases, and I don't embarrass him, and he's okay with me doing that too, sure.
Mm-hmm. And Maya even said the same thing. Does that go both ways?
It's got to go both ways. Unless you're now, that's a whole. Are you Floyd Mayweather?
Right. Because just,
I mean, this can go really left.
Yeah, this can go. Yeah, we're gonna get real. This can go really left.
Are you Floyd?
Just because somebody is providing does not mean that they can completely step out. Because if the woman is working and providing as well, does that mean she can step out? Or if she's providing the home care, the child care, making sure the fort is held down, so she's providing something as well. At the end of the day, we're both providing something for the relationship. We're both servicing each other. So if you can step out, then I can step out.
That's a very childish way to handle a grown situation. What's a very childish way?
Yeah, I'm not agreeing with it. I don't agree with it.
You didn't hear me. I didn't want to say.
No, but what we're saying is when he said, do you mind if your man steps out without bringing home a child or a disease? That's where you have to flip it and say, is he okay with his woman stepping out without bringing home a child or a disease?
Because whomever said boss hog, that's a very childish way. And I'm assuming you're talking about whatever. That's a very childish way to handle a grown situation. Hopefully we're talking about the same thing, because nothing is grown about asking that dumbass question.
Right. See, I told you she's gonna be real. So that's why we answer it like that.
Dumbass questions get dumbass answers.
Yes. And Brandon is right. So he was like, no, I wouldn't want other options when I could make a decision on who I'm meant to spend my destiny and eternity with. Maybe I'm selfish, but I want my woman for myself. No, Brandon, that's actually normal and healthy. Okay. If I'm getting with somebody, it's because I want to be with that person. If I feel the need to step out, I don't need to be married, or I don't need to be in a relationship. You fulfill me. And if there's any areas where that person is lacking, we should have the type of friendship where we can talk to each other. But B is right. That question warranted that response. It's just like,
I'm going to give you what you give me. If you ask me a dumbass question, I'm going to give you a dumbass response.
I'm telling you guys, that's why I had her on here.
So there's nothing
gonna tell you.
childish about that response. It was very childish to ask that question, but it's okay if that's what you want in your marriage. Fine.
So, Mike, I don't know what you're asking, so we're just gonna have to skip over you. Your tolerance of infidelity increases with the net worth of the man you guys are married to. No, we don't
Oh yeah, let me
tolerate
answer that.
it. Yeah, go ahead.
Because I said if it's Tiger Woods or if it's Floyd Mayweather, I was catering to the childish question that was asked. So let's go back.
Funny.
I'm being sarcastic.
We're being sarcastic. All right.
Yeah. So okay.
Okay.
What we got, Avery?
One of the major issues that plague marriages is the woman uses sex as a tool to control.
That's anybody. That's whack.
Yeah.
That's
after
whack.
they've gotten the ring. Yeah, that's not gonna keep them.
Yeah, that's too many fish in the sea. You know what my husband always tells me? If you go to the barber shop enough, eventually you'll get your hair cut.
Yep.
And what that means is it's plenty of fish in the sea.
Plenty of fish in the sea. So that's what I'm saying. When women feel that is their superpower, that is not their superpower. And they need to learn that very quickly. And I don't know if that's something that you should be taught at a young age, because my parents constantly told us, and I used to hate hearing it. I used to be like, ugh. I didn't want to hear it. They were like, what you have between your legs does not make you special. Every woman has that. You have to bring more to the table. And it was the same thing that they said about looks. Your looks can get you in the room, but they won't keep you there. What else do you got? Let's see. Okay. So that's that. That usually is a woman's superpower. Women have lots of options. I don't think so.
No, not a woman.
Mm-mm.
Let's
not
be
a
clear.
Woman. That's a female
not whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I mean, but
that's
a woman.
A chick's superpower. Yeah. That is not a woman's superpower, because a woman could draw a man in without ever touching him.
And those
she could pull him in, make him fall in love without ever touching him in a sexual way.
Scott says everyone has lots of options. I 100% agree.
We agree, Scott. Everyone has lots of options.
Scott Clark, withholding sex is emotional blackmail. Yeah, that's some dumb stuff. Whoever withholds that,
and that's also childish too.
That's some childish stuff.
That is very childish to withhold sex from your partner. That is very childish. And you guys, that's what we're saying. We are talking about serious relationships, marriage, or what do you call when people just date for years? People are together and they never get married. We're talking about these. We're not talking about people you're just out, whatever. Let me see. Okay. Let me go. It's up. Oh, thank you, Brad. So really quick, before we end for the night, when it comes to gender roles and relationships today, there definitely has to be a balance. And I feel that there has to be the masculine and the feminine. Okay. That does not mean that it cannot cross. Okay. It's fluid. Like B said, she was like, I don't really know about all them gender roles, but as a wife and as a mother, I do the cooking, the cleaning. I make sure the house is kept up. I'm a cook. Even if I don't like to, I'm going to make sure my man has what he needs. I'm going to make sure everything else is taken care of. I'm going to make sure I fix up for him when we step out. So she is fulfilling her role. But also, if things happen, she can pick up more. Or if he has to, he can pick up more. Because at the end of their day, they're a team. She also understands as a woman that if she doesn't do it, there's somebody else out there who is willing to.
Because I haven't met a perfect couple yet. I don't care how long you've been married. I don't care what it looks like.
No perfect couple.
I ain't seen it. It doesn't exist.
Yes. No, there's no perfect couple. But you have to be. Here, let's go to Maya's. You have to be willing to do your part. You cannot be on the team and not play, not practice. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to be on the team and not doing nothing. Okay? You have to be willing to serve your partner, no matter what it looks like. Don't say it's not beneath you. If it's serving your partner, it is serving you. If your partner benefits from it, you will benefit from it. It is a team. It is not enough just to show up and do nothing. Prime example, start showing up to work and don't do nothing and see what happens. Show up to work. Completely forget your role, your responsibilities. Don't do nothing. And keep showing up like that. Keep showing up and don't do anything and see how long you have that job. So I don't know why you feel you can do that in a relationship.
And put your all in your... Exactly. Good.
You can't show up to work and expect to stay on the job and not do nothing. But you think you can show up to your relationship and do nothing and it's going to work and you're going to succeed? No, baby. Not at all. Not at all. Okay. Let me see. Okay, Maya's talking about that they agreed to Kevin Samuels' stance on cheating, exercising options. Girl, you know what, Maya? I don't know. Now, I have exercised some options before, and that's neither here nor there. But you get to a certain point in life where if you know, I feel like this, if you know who you are, like now I know who I am. And I know that each day I get up, I'm becoming a better woman. Okay? So now I know what I bring to the table. And I know that I can be all that a man needs and more. So he will not have to exercise any options. And whatever man I'm with, like now, I don't need nothing else. I don't need to look at anything else. Nothing else interests me. I don't care what they have. I don't care what they try to throw at me. Trips, money, houses, whatever. No. All my needs are met. I'm good. Okay?
I'm cracking up at Christopher Robin.
Wait, where's Christopher at, girl? Christopher, a man is faithful as his options. Never marry a man more attractive than you are. Christopher, you were killing us. Okay, so here's somebody else. Okay. Kevin Samuels is just saying the more high value the guy, the more likely he is to cheat. More options equals more opportunities. I don't necessarily disagree with that, but that's when self-discipline, because you also have high value men who have explored a ton of options, but they also understand the risk. And they also know that if they are at a certain point, let's say in their business, that is draining. they're like, I done been with this type of woman, this type of woman, this type of woman. Like, they don't hold my interest for longer than 2 weeks. I want a whole woman. I want somebody that I can come home to. I'm constantly pouring out. I'm constantly being pulled at. I don't have time to be trying to meet all these different women's needs. I need one woman, a whole woman. So that stuff can get played out real quick. And that's another thing. Not all high value men cheat. Okay? At all. I definitely don't. That comes down to, I think a personality thing. And some people just are constantly looking for something. And it also depends. I'm not trying to be funny. You have some people who've never had certain things. So when they acquire it and they start to get all this attention, they don't know how to handle it. Okay? And that's a maturity thing. And it's also an experience thing. Because you have some who have been around it, who have lived that life, and they're like, no, I'm good. I don't have time to be running the streets. I don't have time to be doing no settlements, NDAs, and stuff with people. Like, I'm good with this one right here. Alrighty, guys. Okay. So we are going to close. All right. And just do your part. Don't get caught up in the task and the labels, and that's not my responsibility, or I'm a CEO and I have 85 degrees, and because of that, I can't fix your plate, so to speak. And you guys know that's just an example. But I'm not doing this, and this because I'm here. No, because you don't want him saying, well, you make money. I'm not putting a ring on your finger. Buy your own ring. Or you can do all this. I'm not going to provide. I'm not going to protect you. I'm not going to offer security or any of that. We're not doing that. If you're in the relationship, do your part. And your part, your role may change. But whatever you do, pour into your partner, serve your partner, let go of the ego. You cannot be of service with the ego. Okay? You have to humble yourself before your partner and be willing to understand that whatever you put into the relationship, you are also benefiting from. Whatever I do for my man, I'm definitely going to benefit from.
Better believe.
The more I do, the more I get. The more I do, the more I get. All right. And that comes from everything. All right. So B, any closing remarks?
Nobody wins when the family feuds.
Literally. Nobody wins when the family feuds. How can you compete with your partner or your teammate and expect to win? Same team, win together, lose apart. Peace. Bye, guys. Thank you for joining us.
It was fun.
Bye.
Bye.